Welcome to my story time by mybooksummary.com. Get ready for quick wisdom of countless stories and explore. A Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. Let's get one thing straight before we begin. This is not a happy story. If you are looking for a tale full of joy, laughter, and a satisfying ending where everything is neatly wrapped up with a bow, then I highly recommend you stop reading right now. But if you, like me, are the kind of person who finds yourself strangely drawn to dark humor, mysteries, clever wordplay, and a story where the good guys don't always win, then A Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket, aka Daniel Handler, might be exactly what you need. This is the story of three extraordinarily intelligent yet tragically unlucky children, Violet, Klaus, and Sunny Baudelaire, who are thrown into a world of misery, villains, and sinister secrets after the sudden and mysterious death of their parents. The series follows their desperate attempts to escape the clutches of the evil Count Olaf, a man so wicked and persistent that he makes regular villains look like kindergarten bullies. But before you assume this is just another simple tale of good versus evil, think again. A Series of Unfortunate Events is far more complex, layered with riddles, hidden messages, and moral dilemmas that force its characters to question everything they thought they knew about the world. And as the narrator repeatedly warns us, things only get worse from here. The Baudelaire orphans, three brilliant, unlucky children. Our unfortunate journey begins with Violet, Klaus, and Sunny Baudelaire, three siblings who, despite their young ages, possess remarkable talents. Violet, the eldest, is a gifted inventor. She can take apart machines, create clever contraptions, and solve engineering problems with nothing but a few scraps and her sharp mind. Whenever she is thinking up an invention, she ties her hair back with a ribbon, a small detail that becomes a signature of her brilliant mind. Klaus, the middle child, is an avid reader with an almost photographic memory. He devours books, absorbing knowledge faster than most adults, which often helps the siblings escape impossible situations. Sunny, the youngest, is a baby with an unusual talent for biting. Yes, you read that correctly. Her teeth are razor sharp, and while this might seem like a useless skill at first, trust me, it comes in handy more often than you'd think. At the beginning of the story, the three Baudelaire children are enjoying a peaceful day at Briny Beach, unaware that their lives are about to change forever. A man named Mr. Poe, a banker with a terrible cough and an even worse sense of responsibility, arrives to deliver devastating news. Their parents have perished in a fire that burned down their home. And just like that, their entire world is reduced to ashes. Enter Count Olaf, a villain as evil as he is ridiculous. With no family left, or so they are told, the Baudelaire orphans are placed in the care of their distant and despicable relative, Count Olaf. Now, if you're imagining a kind, eccentric uncle who takes them in and gives them a loving home, erase that thought immediately. Count Olaf is one of the worst human beings ever to walk the earth. He is greedy, cunning, and completely shameless, with one singular goal: to steal the Baudelaire fortune, which Violet will inherit when she comes of age. Olaf has a tattoo of an eye on his ankle, a theatrical way of speaking, and a gang of equally awful henchmen who help carry out his despicable plans. His house is filthy, crumbling, and full of unsettling secrets, and the children quickly realize that their new guardian does not care for them at all. He forces them to do endless chores, barely feeds them, and makes it clear that they are nothing more than a means to an end. And when his initial attempts to legally obtain their fortune fail, Olaf devises a sinister plan. He forces Violet into a sham wedding disguised as a theater performance, hoping to claim her inheritance through a loophole in the law. But here's where the Baudelaire children prove their brilliance. Violet, ever the resourceful inventor, outsmarts him. She signs the marriage document with her left hand instead of her dominant right hand, making the entire thing invalid. Foiled but not defeated, Count Olaf escapes, vowing that he will return to take what he believes is rightfully his. And oh, return he does. Again, and again, and again. A series of unfortunate guardians. With Olaf on the run, the Baudelaire children are shuffled from one bizarre and often incompetent guardian to another, hoping for a safe place to call home. Each new location presents a fresh set of dangers, ridiculous adults who refuse to listen to them, and a new scheme by Count Olaf, who always shows up in an absurd disguise that only the children seem to recognize. Uncle Monty and the Reptile Room. One of their first guardians, Dr. Montgomery, or Uncle Monty, is a kind-hearted herpetologist, that's a scientist who studies snakes. For the first time, the Baudelaire children experience genuine happiness. But, spoiler alert, happiness does not last long in this story. Olaf, disguised as Monty's new assistant, poisons Uncle Monty, framing it as a snake bite. The children, devastated but determined, expose his plan. But once again, Olaf escapes justice. Aunt Josephine and Lake Lachrymose. Next, they are sent to live with Aunt Josephine, a woman terrified of literally everything, including doorknobs, refrigerators, and the sound of telephones. She is a former grammar teacher, which means she spends most of her time correcting people's language rather than protecting the children from danger. Of course, Olaf shows up, this time as Captain Sham, a peg-legged sailor. He tricks Aunt Josephine into faking her own death, then attempts to kidnap the orphans. Once again, the Baudelaire children narrowly escape, but at a great cost. And so it continues. New guardians, new locations, new disguises, new misfortunes. The pattern might seem repetitive, but each book reveals more secrets, more clues, and a growing sense that something much bigger is at play. The mystery of VFD and the truth about their parents. As the series progresses, the Baudelaire children begin to piece together the mystery surrounding their parents, Count Olaf, and a secret organization known as VFD. What is VFD? Well, that's the million-dollar question. VFD stands for many different things throughout the series, but at its core, it is a secret society dedicated to fighting fires, both literal and metaphorical. The Baudelaire parents were once part of this organization, as were many of the adults the children meet along the way. However, at some point, VFD split into two warring factions. One side dedicated to justice and knowledge, the other embracing chaos and destruction. Count Olaf belongs to the latter. The more the Baudelaire children learn, the more they realize how tangled their past is in this secret war. But here's the real tragedy. Answers are rare, and when they do come, they are often incomplete or too late to change anything. Final thoughts. A story without a happy ending. The Series of Unfortunate Events is not your typical children's series. It does not offer easy solutions, perfect heroes, or a satisfying resolution where everything is neatly explained. Instead, it leaves readers with more questions than answers, a reflection of real life, where things don't always make sense. It is a story about survival, intelligence, and resilience in a world that is often unfair. And despite all the darkness, it teaches us something truly valuable. Even in the face of tragedy, we must keep going. We must keep asking questions. We must keep fighting for what is right. Because, in the end, that's what makes a true hero. Even if their story is a series of unfortunate events. Stay tuned for more enlightening content. Head over to www.mybooksummary.com. Don't forget to subscribe and share the magic with friends, and let's grow together through the power of books and interesting stories.